Wait,
All
so
right.
so what you been doing in quarantine?
Quarantine's real chill. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just like I feel like I'm trying to take precautions to stay safe, but it's hard to not get bored and dull with everything that's happening.
Yep,
You know what I mean?
I
Like
know what you mean.
your whole life has kind of changed as far as mine and everybody else's.
That's true. I
So
agree.
now that you have to be able to not see as many people, social distance, those kinds of things, and I feel like I am taking precautions. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean that I'm seeing absolutely nobody during these quarantine times, but
Mhm.
it's a lot different than the way it used to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
I
you
I
just
agree.
be surrounded by randoms before,
Mhm.
and now it's just kind of like you're down to a couple people here and there. So I think it's. I'm hoping it's still going to be somewhat temporary. I know it's not going to be fully temporary. Like things might change permanently, and some things about everything will change permanently. But I'm just hoping for the best, man. Especially after the COVID anniversary period, the honeymoon phase is over. Because like the first couple weeks, I won't say people were excited to just be here, but it was a lot easier to be like, oh, I'm at home, everybody's at home, and now it's kind of like get me
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
here. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Like you just wanna do something else besides just stay at home.
Yeah, exactly,
I guess the
100%.
I mean, I guess the only good thing about like in my situation at least is like I get to go out in a way, just go to work and I get to see people, but still kind of take those precautionary, steps.
Yeah. Where are you working at now?
I still work at the same retail company.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
I always see you posting about how you want to go back to Mexico and visit and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I like that this guy's getting in touch with his roots. You know what I
Yeah, dude.
mean?
Yeah. That's my goal. That's actually like my goal in life is like to have kids, but like they also keep the roots. Speak the
Yeah.
language, speak the language. Go out of the country and like, visit family, get to know family, because that's how it is. Like for us, like Mexicans, or Hispanics in general, like it's family based basically. Like
Yeah.
everyone's like always together. That's why you see like a lot of people like a lot of like families living like 6 to like maybe 10 people at one house because everyone's
Well,
like,
that, and
what?
I know you're from Mexico, right?
No, I'm from here.
Okay, but
Yeah.
still, you have a big Mexican following though, as far as like the way you were raised. You were raised like you were from there, is what I'm saying.
Only for like 1 year, just because I lived there for 1 year.
Well, like even while you were here in Minnesota, because like while my family's here in Minnesota, like the parties we go to on the weekends, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
uncles and aunties, the household is very Nigerian. You know what I
I
mean?
see. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I imagine that's the same way for you. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
it's different.
it
You
is.
wouldn't say so?
Yeah, I mean nowadays it's like different than like before. Back when I was little, like we had a lot of people at home, a lot of parties and things like that, but we haven't had a party since like I want to say like 10 years ago. Like it's
Really?
not the same as before.
And what do you think happened then?
It's like it's mostly family stuff, like drama, family drama. It's just that. It's a
In
lot of
fact,
wait, what?
now I think about it, how because you are 1 year older than Derry, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So where's he at? I haven't seen or heard from him in a minute.
I know he's in my house. He's right here. I mean, he's not like right here, but he's upstairs. I'm downstairs.
Yeah, yeah, that's what's up. Tell my guy I said what's up,
All
man. It's been a
right,
minute since I've seen Derry.
all right. Yeah, yep. I'll tell him. I'll tell him.
What's he doing now? Is he in college or is he just chilling?
He graduated college.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, you kids, I'm telling you guys, like that's one thing that's always funny to me is that people want to talk about how the Smash community is like always a bunch of kids,
Mhm.
but I've seen so many people grow up in these communities. You know what I
It's
mean?
crazy, huh?
Whether Yeah, and honestly, I love it. Whether it's you or you could even
Ben.
go as far back as what's his name, Neil.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm
Neil.
saying? Even like some of the people you wouldn't even think of, like the Amons and stuff like that.
Amen.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
these people have been around for a long time and continue going to be that way. Like I think that's a good way to look at things. Is that you can come in here and still be a young person, but then to finally like grow older and find out what else you want to do, whether you want to just be the best here or whatever it is, you have the opportunity to do so. So
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think that's really cool. I think that's really cool.
It is. It is cool. I think
What's
it's.
up, Eric? Welcome back.
What's up, Eric?
Episode 5.
What is up, guys? This is the Homies Podcast, episode number 5, featuring our guest Amanze. As
Thank you
always,
guys.
we have our hosts, Lil Homie and Eric.
Ergeezy. Get at your boys.
Hey. Yeah,
Man.
yeah, dude. So we were just talking about like Smashers growing up in the Smash community. How like Neil, me, Ben, how we were just like started as little kids. Now we're like in college, growing up, moving
Yeah.
on with the life, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, it's like you mentioned some people who, quite frankly, a lot of you guys were good at some point in time. But I don't want that to take away from the people who might not have had the same kind of success, if that's the word you want to use. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a big proponent in that this community is for everybody, whether you're good, whether you're bad, whether you're striving.
I agree.
Maybe you just want to use this as something to, like, chill out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree,
and I don't
man.
think you have to have been good to have a place in the community. Like, I don't think that that's the kind of thing that's not the way I look at it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy for me to point out like a Neil or an Eamon, you know what I'm saying? But I'm sure there's a lot of other people who've been around for a while and haven't had the same level of success. And this community is just as much yours as it is ours. So.
Damn. Hey,
No.
Amanze, wait, how long have you like been in the Minnesota community? Like when did you start? Like, yeah, when did you start?
Man, if you guys want to go all the way back.
Yeah, I want to go
We
all the
want
way
all
back.
the dirty.
Yeah, all the
all
dirty.
the way back. Let's think about it like this. I would say I joined the Minnesota Smash community 2007,
Damn.
my freshman year of college. Freshman year of my undergrad college. And I'll never forget this story because you guys know how it is.
Yeah.
Everybody that's now in the community, at least in my opinion, you were all like the king of your neighborhood. I vividly remember no one could beat me and Link. All I would do was roll around. I could not be stopped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I remember freshman year of college, I'm on the top floor of my dorm. And as I'm going upstairs on like, I can't remember, it was after we moved in, I saw these 4 people. At least one of whom you guys will recognize the name. But they were playing Super Smash Brothers. And in my head, I'm like I always knew there was a greater level than the level I was currently playing on. But I was like, well, I'm the best in my neighborhood, so how bad could it be? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, of the 4 people that were playing Super Smash Brothers, I played 3 of them that day. One person, the first person I played to, which I think I barely beat, which was rare because in my neighborhood, no one could beat me up and down my block. I barely beat him, and he was a Peach whose name is Wes. You guys might know him, maybe.
Wait, what?
His name is Wes.
I
The
don't know.
next person I played was a Sheik you guys will all know by the name of Deepak. And he 3, maybe 4 stocked me. And it was really bad.
Damn.
Yep.
And then the last person I played, who some of you guys might not recognize the name, but some of you older people will, was a Jigglypuff by the name of Yoshi. And he utterly destroyed me. Utterly destroyed me. And what I remember is that despite losing, this was so much fun. It was so much fun to really get to my limits and just lose like that. You know what I mean? And from that day on, I started playing with those guys more and more often and trying to learn some things, understand the finer parts of the game. But it's such a weird storyline because that happened at the end of 2007. But then Brawl came out shortly after that. So really, right after that,
Damn.
we all got into Brawl, right? But like my Melee story, that was 2007. For a little bit, I played Melee with those guys, and then I had a training partner who, the best way I can describe him is he was the Krillin to my Goku, my boy, because he played Luigi, and I played a bunch of Link and Samus, and we never did anything good. Like we couldn't wave dash, but we were trying, right? the game was just so fast for us, you know. But when me and Andy would play, it was like a 50-50 matchup. You know what I'm saying? But like when the Master Roshis came through, we'd all get stocked and point stocked, right?
Yeah.
But then Brawl comes out, and we all start kind of playing Brawl anyway because it's the new game,
Yeah.
and this is kind of like my new chance to get a bite at the apple. But I'll never forget what happened one time. So the guy who had Brawl was mad at me and Deepak for some reason, and he wouldn't let us play it that day. And this was like in March or April. So then Deepak was like, let's just try Melee again. You know what I mean? And that was when Deepak really was like, you got to stop doing this dumb stuff and like, let me show you how to play the game. And this is where I first feel like I first got that first level up.
Hey, so is this like mid 2008 at this point?
It's like mid to early. I'd say it's like April 2008 at this point.
Ooh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Where the Brawl was taken away from us one day, and we were just like, fine, we'll just play Melee anyway.
Yeah.
And
Damn.
that was when Deepak showed me. He taught me my famous technique because I still do this every day.
Wait, rush back.
He taught me like, look, all I keep doing is trying to run at you and nair. So if you just wave dash back and down smash,
I got it right.
Right?
Yeah.
So he showed me it as Sheik, and I started doing it as Sheik, and it was working. And when I say working, it went from like Deepak 4-stocking me by just running into me to like now we're getting like 3 or 2 stock, right? So I learned it as Sheik, but then I remember doing it as Samus and being like, it's way better with this guy. And that's how I started to play Samus. No joke.
Damn.
Wow.
That Deepak showed me, right?
Wow.
And you got to understand, like, this guy has been the ultimate teacher for me, but everyone has this kind of a figure in their life because, no joke, from the time we started playing Melee till I can't even remember how long, I would I would walk to this guy's dorm. He lived off campus. I'd watch this guy's dorm every day, and I would lose every game for like 5 or 6 straight hours.
Damn, you're on the grind.
Like, you guys, I can't stress enough how much this guy beat me. And there were some times where, like, I can't describe it any better, he'd be sandbagging. But at any point when he wanted to win, he would just take it and he was going to win. It'd be 4 stocks to 1 because he was trying some stuff. And then he would all of a sudden just be like, hey, I'm just going to win this. You know what I mean? And he would win it. I just did not have the skills.
Hey, yo,
better.
So during this period where you're just getting mollywopped by Deepak, were you guys trash talking?
Oh, here's the thing. I won't say that I was trash talking him at that point because I was terrible. But, like, the one thing I want to tell everybody is I loved every minute of it. Loved every minute of it. Like, that's the one thing I hear from people is that, like, they get frustrated. And I understand the frustration when you're playing someone who's better than you or you thought you had something figured out and you don't.
Yeah.
But, like, I could have played him. We played for 5 hours. I could have played him for 10 hours. You know what I mean? Like, that part of the grind was just so ingrained into me that, like, man, it didn't work, but I want to try it again. Oh, I didn't get it right. Let me do it again. I want to do it again and again and again and again and again. I can't stress to you how many times we would just play over and over and over again, and I fall for the same stuff over and over and over and over.
So when was the first time when you finally felt like you could kind of take on Deepak?
The first time,
like how far after? Like April 2008.
I can't remember the exact time, but like I do vividly remember the tournament. Like I can't remember what the name of the tournament was. But the first time that I ever beat Deepak was, man, it was such an experience to me because I remember seeing it in the bracket, knowing that it was coming up. And for some reason, it just felt a little different. It had to have been like a year later. And I think the best part about it, because you know, Deepak, me and Deepak, we're both very prideful guys. So we're never going to like blame anything. But I still remember he was like, hey man, my controller isn't working after this. and then he had to unplug it and replug it, and then he still lost the game too. You know what I mean? So like, I still remember it just being like, man, I did it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Damn.
Yeah.
and I think that kind of thing is like real important to finally feel like you figured something out against somebody who just demolished you over and over again. But at that same tournament, another person who was just like a rival to me was my mentor Yoshi. You guys might know him as Lucas. Because right
Oh
after I
yeah.
beat him, I lost 2-0 to Yoshi. Could not put a dent into him. You know what I mean? So,
Mm,
and that was in winners finals because I played Deepak in winners semifinals.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
damn.
So, and I don't know. I see it come full circle because honestly, guys, one of my favorite things to hear about as a smasher, as an old smasher, right?
Mhm.
I love it. I absolutely love it when people come up to me and say stuff like, "Hey, man, I played you at my first tournament and got mollywopped, and now they're able to do something. They're able to beat me." I played at Summit, right? I had to play Snuffs, right?
Mhm.
It was quick 2-0. It wasn't even close, guys. Snuffs got in there and he took care of business. And he told me after, like I had no recollection of this. He said, "I remember playing you at one of my first tournaments and getting. I think he said he got 4 stocked or 3 stocked or something. It was. He said it was bad. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I couldn't be more happier than to hear something like that. You know what I mean?
Hey,
And
it's so interesting that you bring that up because I think for a lot of people, especially after the doc came out and the explosion of like 2013, 2014, a lot of people see you as that person where they were like, we got modeled up by this guy, and then like a couple of years later, we're finally on some sort of the same level. We like took a game off him, or you know what I mean. We like won a close set, and it's like, damn, it's like like, they get that feeling, that sense of validation that you were talking about. So it's interesting when you say from the opposing side that you're actually very happy and like you know what I mean. You're genuinely like
oh,
feeling good about it.
like the thing to me is like I know it can be a competitive landscape. I know people are always trying to improve. People always want to do better. I truthfully, I understand that.
Mm.
But I think there's just so much brotherhood that can be had here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I
as
agree.
much as people talk trash to other people in our community, really, I see it as just a group of friends who like to bicker. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
they like to stunt. They like to talk a little trash. But these people, in my opinion, they don't actually dislike each other. At least that's the way I feel. And I root so hard for the growth of anybody, which is why, like, I'm not here to hide what I'm doing. I'm not here to say, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to keep anybody down. I want everyone to collectively grow. And I feel like if that continues to happen, then it can only push me to do better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, really, if you ask me what I'm doing, I'll tell you at least from my angle, like what I think I'm doing. Like I want everyone to be as good as possible, which is why I root for everyone. Like I try and call people when they go to tournaments and say like, "Hey, have a good time, man. Do a good job." Like I root for the Minnesota scene as much as I can. And to be honest, like I was actually thinking about this the other day. While I like watching pros, I get so much more excited when like Minnesota people are going up against like the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When I
dude.
saw
Yeah.
honest to God, when I saw my boy Jake going up against Hungry Box, I had to grab my girlfriend and tell her like, listen, this is my guy right here. The guy who's playing the swordsman, that's my fucking guy. And he's going up against the best guy in the world right now. You know what I mean? Like
Damn.
I want to see that kind of stuff happen. I saw Lexor play Mango. Like until it was over, I kept telling myself like Lexor can still pull his back. And he's going against Mango. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind
Yo,
of
it's the same because it's so like at last summer, Smash and Splash, it was Hundo Jake against Ginger,
Ginger.
and like
Yeah,
Ginger's
Oh
like
that's
a
yeah,
right.
corny dude, and it was like game 5 shit,
game
you know,
Yeah.
five.
and like we were all I was there, and so I was like pumped as hell, and so the
Yeah.
fact that you're talking about not just the brotherly love, but the Minnesota love, you know what I mean? You gotta show up
Yeah.
for the boys.
Hey,
You have
Amanze.
to.
Hey, Amanze. I don't know. Okay, so like so you speaking on like Minnesota as a whole and like how the brotherhood thing, like I don't know. To me, you kind of like you like give this energy of like a father figure type energy, and I don't know, it's comforting. It's just comforting every time like you're there. You give us a hug after each set. It just it feels good. Like
Yeah, man. It's like I feel like it's funny because it's a role that I've definitely accepted,
mm,
and coming into it, I just feel like the reason why a lot of people might be here playing Smash, like it's no secret that Smashers aren't typically the most social people. That's a good way to say it, right?
yeah, yeah,
So people coming
Yeah.
to this community, they might have found it because they just didn't have anywhere else to go. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? And this is their little bit of sunshine for the day.
yeah,
And I want everyone to feel like welcome. I want everyone to feel like this is a home for them. So and honestly, that's just the best way I feel like I can do so. Like truthfully feeling like you're set with me is the funnest set that it can be. You know what I mean? And it's
yeah,
funny because I know I have like one of the more frustrating play styles, to put it lightly. But like, I don't want anybody to feel bad about what's going on. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
Hey, so in light of that, it's like you. So the thing is, it's crazy because it's like when you talk, I can genuinely see your energy
yeah,
about how you feel about the community, and like the game and the
yeah.
homies,
You're
and
passionate.
it's not just passion, it's like positive
It is
passion. You know what
positive.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
it
like
is positive.
upbringing and lifting, and so it's like it's crazy to see that the scene has kind of dwindled in numbers in the past couple of years. Like, what do you
yeah.
think on that? You know?
Well, I think like it's tough. Like the scene has dwindled in numbers, but depends on how you look at it. Like I'm of the belief that it's not just a melee scene; it's a smash scene, and I think that's the way it should be. That like it should be for us, for everybody. I don't know. It looks like Eric kind of paused here.
Yeah, I
I
think
was
Eric.
wondering if you just
Yeah, I think Eric just cut
yeah,
out.
but he'll be back.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like on one hand, the scene's gotta crash a little bit just because we are playing a game that's from literally what the 14, 15 years now.
wait,
When did this
no,
game
it's
come out?
like it's
2002.
2001. It's like 19 years already.
So it's already been 19 years, and we're still playing the same game.
It's so
You know
good.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is so good. There's always something new to learn about it.
Yep.
So honestly, I'm surprised that it's been around this long.
But it still feels like
But like, it
refreshing every
doesn't
time you
really
play.
hurt me to see that the scene it has dwindled in numbers, but it's got to a little bit. But I think that like I'd like to see more people who play Ultimate and then they want to come and play Melee. You know,
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
playing Yeti one time at a tournament, and he was just like, "Yeah, man, I'm here for the Melee."
yeah.
Because he'd already been doing well in Smash 4, I think it was at the time. He just wanted to be a part of the scene.
mm.
Oh, there he goes. What's up, Eric?
Sorry about that, guys.
No, it's all good. But yeah, just to answer your question, Eric, I was just talking about
I
how
gotta fix this.
yes, the scene it is dwindling per se, but I mean the game is it's very very old. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised by it in the least. And I think given what how old the game is, like I'm happy to where the scene is, and I hope to see that it can at least sustain where it's at.
Yeah, man. It's just it's crazy too because it's like it's everybody has their own take on it, you know? So it's like
Yeah.
what do you like what do you think is missing from like, maybe 5, 10 years ago that is like not as prevalent today?
Honestly, I don't know that I would say that something is missing. It's tough because like I don't think that I'm any different than someone who got mollywopped in their game and then they're like, hey, let me learn more about this, and then they create any friends. It's just happening at a different time, you know? And
Yeah.
like the spread of information was a lot different. Like yes, we have the internet, but like when we first started, and I guess when I say we, I guess the people that I came up with, like the me, the triple R's, those kinds of guys, like honestly, I remember hearing about sets. Like, sure, there was like a Bomb Soldier versus Mewtwo King video, but I don't remember how I first saw it. And when I did see it, it was like game 5 or something like that. It was just one game. I remember that in order to watch a set, like YouTube, it'd be put on YouTube like one game at a time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
that's right.
yeah, those
Like the
kinds of
2 to 3 minute
things.
videos for one game.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. So like the way information got spread was just, it was so much slower. You know what I mean? And that added
Mm.
to the idea that the grinding you did was in your room. And sure, the grinding couldn't be as good because you had less resources. You know, now you can like text Ginger and like he'll go in depth about what you're doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? Those kinds of things. But before it was a little bit about just hearing it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I think that actually, I don't know, that was one of the good things about growing up back in that era because it was different. I don't want to say it was harder because people now have a different experience than I did, but I remember going to tournaments
Yeah.
and like there's no pools. You know what I mean? Like your performance
Yeah.
against Randall, and if you lose to him, you might lose to someone else, and then it's over. You know what I mean? Like that's just that.
Wait, so
So
so going back to the point where you were saying how smashers aren't really, social, they're not really social against, I mean, with people. Like growing up, were you social? Cause like,
yes and no.
cause like in tournaments, like you're always, like you're always that social guy that anyone could just go up to. You're easy to talk to.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that came with growth in myself. I did feel like I was overall always a social person,
Mhm.
but there were times when I would always be nervous around people, and then you just grow into your own person, and realize what you want, who you want to be. So
Mhm.
yes, I would say I was more social than your normal than your. I was the most social smasher,
Mhm.
and overall, I think now I understand that I'm a social person,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I also don't think that like I was the most social person, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah,
It's real though. But see, the thing is, it's like, so if most smashers are already like not as social, you know what I'm saying? Do you think the revolution of like net play and Slippy and rollback is gonna help that then, or you know what I mean? Because it's like you're already kind of working with not as social folks.
yeah, yeah, and like that's the thing. So I really don't want to like come for those kind of ways to play the game because they really do help people who have options. You know what I mean? Can you
Yeah,
imagine living in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota? So, like, let's say, I wouldn't even say St. Cloud because there's a scene in St. Cloud, but let's go like a mile, not a mile, an hour and a half west of it where there's nobody. You know what I mean? You're traveling 3 to 4 hours for tournaments. Like, this gives you the opportunity to have some people to play with. So, really, I can't be anything but supportive of those devices, but as someone who complains about them all the time, I love the human aspect. You know what I
Yeah, yeah.
mean?
The human
I
aspect
love
is.
the
yeah,
idea that whoever I'm playing with is right next to me
Yep.
and I can see
yeah.
them sweat. I can hear their controller. You know what I'm saying?
You can hear
When
the
I'm taking
background.
stock, I'm intimidating. So I miss that part of the game. And I know we get a little bit away of that. We're getting a little bit away from that, which is a little sad.
Mhm.
But at the same time, right now where we are in the world, it's kind of a necessity because
You kind of, yeah.
before you had the
Yeah.
opportunity, person or not. Now it's either you get on a slippery or you're not really playing any just because of where we are as far as.
Yo, speaking of COVID though, how personally for you, how are you living? Are you like, still going out, chilling with the homies, or like you taking, you know what I mean? You taking that step back?
Yeah, so it's funny because me and Eric were actually talking. Not Eric, Isaac. Sorry, we were actually talking about this right before this call started, and it's definitely a step back from your day to day,
Yeah,
but I think like things I would say ramping back up because that's not the word I want to use. But I look at my regular day to day. I'm going to if I'm seeing someone who I haven't seen in a while, I'm shaking hands or I'm hugging. Various shake hands, hug person. You know what I mean? You might go to a concert, you might go to a restaurant. You don't even think about who you're by. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But my new
yeah.
day to day, you're using masks everywhere you go. If even when I'm on runs, if I can avoid the person I'm about to run past by running on the other side of the street, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? the number of people I'm seeing day to day is way, way, way down compared to what it used to be.
Mhm.
So it definitely feels different. I'm seeing way less people than I used to, and things are a little bit the same in that, like, I still see my family, I still see some friends, those kinds of things. But the
Yeah.
precautions you take around that are different.
Hey, how do you feel about masks then? When you're like, you're still doing your thing.
I mean, to be honest, I definitely feel like it's a necessity. Um, and I try and wear them depending on, like, most of the time where I'm going. There are some times where you just want to stop at a gas station, you don't have a mask or something like that, and I was wishing that'd be a little different. But really, I think people should just wear them if they can, so that way, hopefully, we can get past it.
Yo,
Yeah.
real talk, I never wear a mask like when I go to the gas station. If I'm like going grocery shopping, always got a mask with me because it's like
Yeah,
it's a little bit longer. You know what I mean? So you're gonna be
yeah,
there shopping a
Yeah.
bunch, and there's always more people over there too. But if I'm like going to the gas station real quick, getting some gas, or just running inside grabbing a drink real quick, I'm good to go. I'm Gucci. I'm out.
yeah. And it's interesting because I thought that, like, companies would. I didn't think that the companies would care as much, and they'd be down to just kind of kick you out. I mean, not kick you out, but let you do that. But I remember I tried to. I went into the Target, and I was just gonna grab something real quick, and they had told me that you need a mask on and don't come in, and I actually appreciated that because it means that they're taking it more seriously. You know?
I see.
Yeah. Dude, it's interesting too because at the gas station, like a lot of the times when I always go to like the same holiday, and I never like get any. I don't ever wear a mask or anything. But I like that they always got like a hand sanitizer thing right in front of the
Yeah,
main door, and I'm always using it. And
yeah.
so that's
I
like
use it
that's
every
my
time.
little like break even precaution.
Yeah, dude, I'm taking whatever steps I can to help myself, which includes the idea that I'm working. So that takes away the idea of just being downtown and seeing a people anyway. So,
Mhm.
but I imagine everyone else is the same thing.
Dude, so do you have family back in Nigeria at all that are like facing crazy
Oh
COVID
yeah.
stuff?
So it's funny. I haven't really heard much from my family back in Nigeria as far as how COVID is treating people.
Yeah.
I do know amongst my family here, we had a lot of uncles and aunties who were stuck in Nigeria just because, like, borders closed down and that kind of thing. So they kind of had to just extend their stay, and I haven't really heard if they're back. In fact, I don't think some of my aunts are back yet because the family I have that lives here, they kind of go back periodically. But now that they're
Okay.
getting stuck, they kind of had to, like, change up the way they're doing some things. But I think they're fine as far as COVID goes. It's just the country's being hit a little different.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting to hear because I don't have family like that I even know, outside of the country. How
Yeah.
long were you there?
I was there. Last time was in 2012.
Dang.
Yeah, so it's been a minute, and it's
Wow,
funny because I
wow.
actually wanted to
Yeah.
go. I actually wanted to go back this year, but then,
Oh, damn, really?
yeah, man. Honestly, I had. Let me tell you this: as far as like the year goes, I was one of those people who was like, 2020 is going to be my year.
I
You know what I
swear,
mean?
that was everyone.
And one of the biggest reasons was I love everyone. People know me, know that I love weddings, and man, I was so excited for the slate of weddings. I had three of my good friends were getting married this year, all not in Minnesota, so I'd have to go somewhere. Well, one of them was Minnesota, but I'd have to go somewhere. I had a ton of other weddings that I was going to attend, and everything got canceled. So
Damn.
I was actually talking to some friends, and I was telling them that this is the longest time that I can remember not leaving Minnesota.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I technically
Damn.
went to Wisconsin like 2 weeks ago, but that doesn't. So, like, yeah, I've been in Minnesota the entire time since like age 18, to be completely honest. So it's crazy.
Hey, but even though with COVID in place, are you still getting your gains on?
No, man. Here's the thing. I actually started running a little bit. So it's funny. I can't play Smash as much because I don't have the slippy stuff. Although I will try and get that
Yeah.
fixed up soon.
Dude,
Mm.
I'm on the
But
same
I actually
boat.
picked up running as a thing. So I've been putting on some miles, trying to get my 10K time down, 5K time down. Well, I didn't do a 10K yet. Well, I did do a 10K. I didn't do a 10 mile yet. So if anything, I started running some miles to keep myself in shape.
Wait, so how fast can you run a mile?
Yeah.
So here's what's funny, right? Distance and speed runs are two different things, and they use two different like gauges, right?
Mm.
So if I had to run a 5K as fast as possible, I think I could maybe do it in like, if you guys asked me to do it right now, it'd be like 28 minutes, which really doesn't sound that fast. It's really not fast at all, to be completely honest.
Mm.
But like if I had to do 1 mile,
Yeah.
seven something, maybe 8 something.
Yeah,
Like if
that's
I
like
was like
me.
tasked with the idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
something
that's
like that.
that's like me.
Yeah.
And 5K is like 3.1 miles.
Yeah,
So
it's like
just to give
3.1.
that reference,
Damn. 3 miles.
Yeah. So like if
you know.
anything, while I'm not getting much faster in that regard, I think that like I can definitely hold my pace longer. So like back when I first started, I probably could have done 3 miles like fresh off of no workouts, right? But to do six off no workouts, I'd
Yeah.
probably die.
Yeah,
Now,
same. That's too hard.
yeah, if I had to run like, I could probably run up to 8 or 9 miles if I needed to, even though I haven't done that yet. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Wait, so speaking of
Oh
sports,
wow. So straight up right now, if someone asked you to run 8 to 9 miles, you're in shape to do so.
Yes, I could run 8 to 9 miles.
that's too hard
Damn.
for me. I
Damn. All
cannot do
right.
You
that.
know what I mean? Like I'd still be at that same like so like I just told you I could run a 5K in 27, 28 minutes if I was trying to go as fast. But my usual pace is like
Yeah.
10 minutes something, right? But I like now I can hold that pace for like that entire time. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Wait, so since you like running, like I'm pretty sure like Nigerians love playing soccer, right? So do you play soccer?
Nah,
You don't
man.
play
Like
soccer?
nah, man. Soccer is not me. I'm more of the NFL football kind of guy, which I don't
Ah.
play that either, but I don't even follow soccer if we're being all
Oh,
over.
I see, I see.
Yo. Wait. First off, you bring up the NFL. Did you see Mahomes' fat contract? Record
Yeah,
breaking.
man. So
450 over 500 mil for the next 10 to 12 years, man.
you know what's is crazy because I don't know I don't know how you can be tied to someone for 10 years. And I'd be interested in
Yeah.
who has more outs. Like, sure, the contract is 10 years, but if the team wants to get rid of him next year, can they do that? Like, I'd imagine so. Like, the team has to leave its way out in case this player does not turn out to who they believe. But the funny thing is,
Yeah.
you can pay him that kind of money because everything in this league revolves around winning a Super Bowl, right?
Mhm.
Like, it's funny. If they offered that kind of money to Kirk Cousins, which I know people are up and down about Kirk Cousins, but if they offered
Hey,
that
they
kind of
already
money,
have though, kinda. You know what I mean?
they did not, though. Not that kind of money. And honestly, I
He,
get the Kirk.
he gets 33 mil a year. He
But
gets
Kirk
33
Cousins.
mil a year.
But here's the thing: the funny thing about Kirk Cousins, though, like I gotta finish my point on Mahomes, right? So
Okay.
because Mahomes has already won a Super Bowl, that's all that really matters. If you win one Super Bowl, you can be a legend in 10 years. Look at Drew Brees. He won.
Yeah.
He won
Yeah.
in 2009, and he's still like that guy. Really,
Hey,
my favorite
hey,
quarterback in the NFL is Aaron Rodgers. It's kind of the same thing. He won a long time ago, has not won since, and like he's still just walking any bar. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
to pay the guy who already did that kind of money, that's what's
Hey, but you also got to put in though, like you got to look at their individual accolades too. You know what I mean? Because like
yeah,
even though obviously football is a team sport, but if you look at their individual accolades, you look at Breeze, he's got that MVP. You look at Mahomes, he already got that MVP. So and same thing with Rodgers. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so it's like, where do you know? It's like I think the money is justified because of the individual accolades as well as that Super Bowl.
yeah. Well,
But
it's funny, like it's justified because the Super Bowl is there and the accolades. Like the career path he is on is crazy. It's absolutely
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, yeah,
No one has ever seen anybody do that well in such a short period of
yeah.
time, which is why he's making such an unprecedented amount of money. But like, you can say you can't point to history on this guy because everything he's done has been history breaking. But like, all these other quarterbacks who won one Super Bowl and then have not done the same thing since. And that's not to say these guys aren't legendary. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback for me, but
Yeah,
really, he's just won. He's only won one Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
kind of
That's
been
true.
coasting up the idea again. Now there's stats and all that other stuff to back them up since then, but like I'll put it like this: Aaron Rodgers, granted the money is a little different. He could have been justified to get that kind of money after they won that Super Bowl, or at least the year
Yeah.
or two after the Super Bowl, where he's putting up crazy MVP numbers. You know what I mean? But had you paid it to him back then, you would still not have another Super Bowl. Do you get what I mean?
Okay. No, I do. And okay, so that's interesting. That brings up the point of even if you don't get Super Bowls, like you were saying, it is kind of revolved around Super Bowls, but it's also revolved around playoff experience or appearances and how far you go off season. You know what I'm or
Yeah.
postseason. You know what I mean? So the thing is, what like you look at Breeze, you look at Rodgers, you look at Mahomes. Every single season he's been a starter. He's been going to postseason and far in the postseason. And then you look at Rodgers and you look at Breeze. How many seasons do they have that they didn't go postseason?
I
You know what
mean,
I mean?
I don't know. When I think about it, because Mahomes, actually, this is the second time in the postseason. Because it's funny, they lost the Titans the first time, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure
No, they lost to the Patriots the year
Oh, yeah,
before
the Patriots.
at the
Titans was
AFC
3 years
Championship.
ago. Yeah, Titans was 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and 2 years ago they lost to the. Okay, yes, you're correct.
But when they lost to Titans, Alex Smith was their starter.
Alex Smith was the starter that year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm remembering. That's true. So they lost. Alex Smith lost to them. Then they lost the Patriots, and then they finally won it all this year.
Yeah.
That's true. So yes, he has made some deep runs. I was in. I apologize for that. But still, like that kind of unprecedented money. The reason I have a question about it is because when you're paying one player that kind of money, that's when it gets hard to pay everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these other guys have contracts for a couple years. You got like your Tyreek Hills, your Travis Kelce's, but some of these guys are their best at their position also. You know what I mean? Like Travis Kelce is one of the best tight ends. Tyreek Hill is one of the best wide receivers. So how long are these guys going to stick around and not have that kind of a payday? Because you can't pay everybody at every position the way you're paying your quarterback.
Yeah. And they're all young too. They're not like, they're not super, super old. But that when you were talking about being the best at that position, it made me think that I think it's kind of like unanimous. You're probably the best Samus in Minnesota.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who are the front runners though? Besides Sebi. Besides Sebi, that's active.
There's Sebi.
I mean,
There's
if Rat was
Rat.
active, yeah, Rat.
What's his name? He plays the purple Samus. I play him every week.
Cordell?
What'd you say?
It's not Cordell.
Cordell.
Cordell?
Yeah, Cordell. That's my guy.
Cordell.
You know what I mean?
Cordell's the homie, dude.
He is the homie.
It's like here's the thing on Samus, and I always say this, right? Because I always say this about Snake and Brawl. If you guys ever played Brawl, I hated Snake. And the reason why is because I always got distracted by the light show, and so I always lost. One of my very good friends, and the only player that I can tell that I never beat in Brawl, because I think I beat everybody else in Brawl, in Minnesota. The only person that I never beat was Nappy. If you guys even knew him.
It's a name that.
Rip Nappy, man.
Yeah.
Rip Nappy.
Yeah, it's a name I recognize.
I feel like he just always had me falling for the show. And I always tell people, I think Samus is a terrible character. But like I honestly do. But like, and it's funny because like I say Samus is a character, but I also say that the character doesn't matter. So I guess people, you know what I mean? But
Yo, so speaking of Samus, fantasy matchup. Last week when Logan was on the show, we were talking about how Sebi would do against Triple R. And Logan brought up, he was like, hey, you know what? It's cool and everything that Sebi's good, but Randall has the matchup down because he's been playing Amanze for the past decade.
Dang.
How do you
Oh,
think Sebi would do against Randall? If Randall was like playing today and he knew all the new school tech stuff.
oh man,
For the new viewers
I gotta tell you guys.
so for the new viewers who don't know about Triple R, he's a retired Kirby player from Minnesota who was the best Kirby in the world also. So yeah.
Unanimously the best Kirby in the world.
Yep.
I think honestly, Randall is. It is. Oh man, I love Randall so much because you guys got to understand. To me, Randall helped me. Randall's one of the biggest reasons that I personified that this character thing. It just doesn't. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. You've always been a big proponent of that.
Damn.
Yeah, and like the biggest thing to me is that while Samus just completely demolishes Kirby, as long as Randall beats Sebi, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So
Eh.
it's really tough because I really want to pick Randall just because that's my guy. But Sebi's my guy too. So I guess
You got that loyalty program, dude. You got those loyalty bonus programs.
So here's the thing, because like people I've played before acknowledge that like Amanze's characters don't really play any different, and it's true. You know what I mean? Like I really play all my characters the same and just try to exploit different things, but I just do it with a bunch of different. And the way I look at the game, it's like there's only so much that matters on screen. You know what I mean? Like what's happening on the screen, you can even say that kind of doesn't matter, because the real matchup, the player I'm playing, you know. So to me, I say the character doesn't matter. What I really, really mean is that the character matters so little that there's no point in even talking. You know what I mean? The matchup here that's happening
It's you versus the person.
Amanze versus Isaac, or
Yeah.
Amanze versus Eric. You know what I'm saying? That's where you need to focus your attention, and that's really who you have to beat. You don't have to beat Fox. You don't have to beat Kirby.
That's
you don't
true.
have to beat, Falcon. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, people struggle against certain people so much. If you ask me, more so than characters. Like people blame stuff on characters, but I think it's more like a problem. Like that's why, because somebody asked me, like, I feel like I can go in against the Captain Ezekiel and I can play Link against him, and I think I'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? But
Hey, I remember. Didn't you fuck him up one time with Link?
I think I beat him one time, right? But like,
Dang.
I don't think that I can play Link against Reese. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not gonna work that way. You know what I'm saying? There's a different character you gotta use, and that's why, like, sometimes, like, I might be playing against someone and I'm like, hey, it's a Falco day, or Falco day. Like, I feel the way my Falco is playing today, or sometimes it's like, hey, it's something to get myself into the mentality that I'm win, and like, there's a lot of strategies that I use. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I just gotta hype myself up into it, which is why, like, I think I've said this before. Like, my favorite thing is I'm playing a set, right? And win or lose, really, it doesn't matter. But I need the crowd to doubt what's gonna happen, one way or another. So if I will switch to a character. You know what I'm saying? Or like I'm down to like play a character on its bad stage, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Something like, because the idea that someone out here is like, what is he doing? He can't do this. That brings me energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like,
Hey,
my bad.
Hey,
I wanted to say like the last thing. I like the way it works out best is I'll win with somebody, switch characters and lose, and then game 5 I will bring back that same character I lost with, because then everyone is just like, why would he do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah.
then my head starts saying, like, I'm ready to show you why I'm going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Damn. So
that feeling
it's about
puts
proving
me
people wrong.
down. Like, oh, I love that feeling. I can't tell you how much I need that feeling in order to do well.
Yo, so that's so interesting because when you bring that up, you do that. I mean, obviously you do that in Smash and in Melee, but the thing is, when PM is involved, you have even more access to more characters that you
Yeah,
do that with. So it's like
yeah.
nuts.
Well, and so like the thing I really want people to get over, because like, yes, I play a ton of characters. I play a lot of them, really. But like, I want people to know the reason why I feel like these characters don't matter is because someone somewhere won this. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the name of my guy who plays Luigi? He moved to Texas, right? I
Oh,
can't
Oh,
Will,
remember.
Will,
Will Pickles.
Will Pickles. Will
Yeah.
Will
Pickles.
Pickles. Yeah,
Will
yeah, yeah.
Pickles, my guy. I had a real tough time with Will Pickles. You know what I'm saying? I'm switching to all the characters I had. Nothing working. Like, I swear our record has to be like 2-7. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
But no matter
Damn.
what character I pick, you know what I mean? Like, there's been like a Marth that beat him somewhere, that beat a Luigi somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And not to say Will Pickles is bad, but there's been Marth that beat Calm Master. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
Hugs is beat Calm Master. There's Falcos that beat Calm Master. So I'm doing something wrong. That it's not. There's something wrong with the way I'm playing, not something wrong in the player I'm choosing. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
when you go in with that mentality that this can happen, only positive can come out of that. You know what I'm saying? But if you already come in with the idea that like this is not possible, you know what I'm saying? It's losing to me, it's a losing mentality. You gotta be able to see it in your mind that like, hey, I can do this.
You have such an opportunist mentality that it's almost hard for me to think that you would be unsuccessful in talking to women too.
Oh.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Like, would you?
that's a whole nother subject. That's a whole
Yo.
nother subject. Let me give you a piece of advice, right? This is the advice I want to tell. I want to tell everybody for everything.
Keep your
You know
ears
what I
open,
mean?
folks.
Literally everything. I do this at work before I have to give a presentation. I do this before a big set, or what I consider a big set game. It's like I gotta play so and so. You know what I'm saying? And even back when I was talking to, or trying to date around or whatever, I do this there. Before I go in, right? Let's just say the example is I'm going in, right? I have a presentation I gotta do. I'm nervous about it, whatever. As I'm walking up to then turn around and face the crowd, before I say it's face the crowd, I say to myself, like, you know what? Blank. And I'll let you fill in the blank. You know what I'm saying? But it's an expletive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm reminded of myself that, like, I'm capable of greatness. I can do this. This is something that I'm capable of doing. And there's no reason why it shouldn't be here for me. You know what I'm saying? That's
Beautiful.
literally what I do before everything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And even regardless of how it goes, sometimes it might not go well, it might not go bad, but I know I'll be alive after it, and I know I will get through. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I do good, sometimes bad, but like I always feel better about it. You know what I mean?
I see it. Your
You know,
confidence
it's
rises.
when you say it that way, it sounds so simple, but I
Yeah.
think it's because so many people overthink and so many people doubt themselves about whatever in life
Yeah, man.
that everyone just allows all those negative
things.
thoughts
And they
to
back out.
kind of just cloud their judgment. You know
Just
what I
back out
mean?
last second.
Yeah.
And so it's for you to say it so straightforward, like the way you said it, you didn't even make it sound like a big deal. You know what I mean? And I think that's like the key part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, just to comment on the way you said it, because you made it sound like it's not a big, but the way you got to look at it, and the way I look at it, it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a big deal. And that goes for anything that you guys are doing. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's in school, whether it's in your love life, whether it's in Smash, like you will have more opportunities. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say that you should not try your hardest now, but you need to give yourself the benefit of the time that this could be the benefit of the doubt that this could be the time. You know what I mean? Like this could be your success story. This is your success story. So let's make it your. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
like I want the people to have a good mentality about this kind of stuff. And that's not to say people can't get frustrated. I think frustration is like it's fine to be frustrated and angry because something didn't work out the way you needed it to, but you also need to be I don't know what I'm looking to say. Like you also got to be positive about the outcome. You know what I'm saying? I'm positive about the idea that you can and will do future.
Well, you know what? I think you said everything that you've needed to about having such a positive winner mentality. Again, it's I think it's so many people are like focused on all the small little details and trying to perfect
Yeah,
everything, trying to
yeah.
control everything
That
and
cause
like putting success as such like this pedestal and like failure as like this absolute thing that you should not have. But the way you
Yeah,
put it, you're like, dude, it's not even a key thing. It's just what happens. Roll with it. Keep going forward. Keep moving forward. This is what it is.
yeah,
At the same time, it's not just this is what it is. The way you said it brings an interesting X factor where it's like it's a positive thing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It'll affect you positively. Like you'll grow from this. And so that's man, the
yeah.
words of wisdom, dude.
Well, to be honest, it's funny because I've talked to some people about this before, and I honestly I don't know what to say as far as like the way I view the game, but I if I could see, I really think that like the game is looked. I look at like Smash particularly, right, as such an art form, right,
mhm.
and I guess the best example that I can give is whenever I watch Ginger stream, I really like the guy, but like the way that he describes people playing is it's so much more of like a mathematics thing. Like you got to be able to cover all of this stuff. And I could be wrong because I don't watch it
He's
all the
calculated.
time.
He's
But
calculated.
like, yeah, it's very very calculated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way that I've used and like he's had a ton of success. So like, if anything, you guys follow what he's saying and forget what I'm saying. But like the way that I view the game is like this is so much of an art form. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
same. That's how I
How
look at
you
it. Like,
answer problems that are
yep.
coming at you is up to your discretion.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is like I'm looking at you right now, Isaac, and I'm looking at you. If I ask each of you guys to draw me a cow on a house, and then you guys showed me your pictures, they look completely different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
But that
That's
doesn't mean
crazy.
they're not both answers to
Yeah.
my question. You know what I mean, or to my request.
Yeah. It's our like perspective or our how do you say it? I guess our definition of what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And they can both be used to take care of the problem.
Mhm.
But like, I feel like when I'm watching a Ginger play, there's always like, hey, this is the optimal or the best way to do something. You know what I'm
These are the
saying?
variables in the equation, and this is the
Yeah,
formula.
yeah. And then I feel like whenever I'm playing someone like that, and they're always like, man, you just came up and up smashed me. In my head, I'm like, it was so much more beautiful than that. Even though all I did was go up and up smash him, but like
Yeah, yeah,
the artwork of it is just so different.
It
You know what I'm
is.
yeah.
saying? Nuances are so there. And like if you don't understand those nuances, like this equation is never gonna make sense. Like you can't put it into an equation because it's a piece of art. You get what I mean? And
Mhm.
Yeah.
like that's why like to me, I just don't like people I don't think there's such thing as like a wrong move. Like there's like a mistimed move. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's other options you could have gone with, but like something that is just wrong, just it doesn't, or something that's inherently always bad. It just doesn't really make sense to me, you know?
Okay, so all right, so by you saying that, it like remembered like it's okay. So there was like this moment that I remembered where I don't know. I just had this idea where like I just told myself, okay, if you messed up, that does not necessarily mean that you messed up. You could use that to your advantage. Like, let's say like you missed an L cancel, right? Like
Yeah,
you could use that as a bait, as like them trying to get into you, depending on where like they're spaced, depending on how far they're spaced. So let's say you missed an L cancel at this distance, and like they're too far away to catch you. They're probably gonna like assume that they can up smash you, but in reality they don't have enough frames to do it. So you can just back up and just
Yeah,
punch them. That's how.
yeah.
That's one thing that, yeah,
I, get-
I had an idea.
look. I understand 1,000% what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like I'll put it like this. It's let me tell you one thing that I do. Right? I play whenever I'm playing someone who can actually power shield stuff very well, right?
Mhm.
I'm so bad at dealing with like as a Falco who shoots lasers that are power shielded back to me. I don't
Mhm.
know what to do. I have problems with that kind of approach. And yes, I could just learn how to power shield them back, shoot at different heights. You know what I mean? Whatever. But sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna make it look so bad that like the laser's not even gonna come out. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
So like, and here's the thing, like people are looking at it. People, if I told that to some people, they'd probably be like, "Well, what's the point? You could just save the frames." But I need the person across from me to at least believe that a laser's coming out. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so then we
Damn.
can change up what was just happening. Like
You're
all of
sending a
their,
message.
yeah,
Dang.
all of their options are still there, but this is now a different way of thinking they have to think about. You know what I'm saying? Or at the very least, to get used to. You know what I mean? So, and then I'm thinking about it like that. Like, eventually, he's going to realize, like, I'm doing this on purpose. And then how can we put the layer on top of that? You know what I mean? But I need to change the way I'm doing it because I'm going to change what I'm doing. But how I choose to do it is up to my discretion. It doesn't always have to be you power shield him and he power shields you back. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if you
Mhm.
talk to a calculated player, they would say this is what you have to do every time because
Yeah.
options. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, like for me like calculated players aren't really like my biggest like I guess players to watch, you know? Like I'm not like the biggest
Yeah.
fan of I'm not the biggest fan of watching calculated players just cuz I feel like if I mean like if they're calculated, they're eventually going to like they're going to start doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then they're just like, sorry, I was just distracted because you cut out on the stream. Yeah, but
No, I'm sorry about that.
no, it's all good, it's all good. No, but I don't know. Yeah, like a player saying that this is the option, this is the correct option every single time. I just feel
Mhm.
like you can easily counter that because you know what to expect in their play.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's funny because there always used to be the argument like, should you play a space animal first or should you play like
A floaty.
or a floaty first? You
Yeah.
know, because the floaties have to like think and the space animals don't, which is not really real. But like the one thing I will say about having to play Samus and then eventually speed things up
Yeah.
is that like you understand that slow game. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I think if I had to pick one, I'm happy with the way that I did it. Like playing a character that is slow, so that way you understand when you're being outpaced and what you can do to like slow someone else down, versus speeding down and then having to slow down to catch some of the different strategies. You know?
Mhm.
I think it's so interesting that like the way you think about it is a lot of people have described it as like freeform jazz, which further supports your long tenure in the community. So I think a lot of these calculated formulaic players potentially will like reach a ceiling or like reach some sort of wall where they're not as interested. The way
Mm-hmm.
you just explained it was like, yeah, I'm doing anything I want, everything I want, and I'm challenging myself, putting myself in new scenarios, and like this thing is might not be the same as the next. I think that kind of variety in the way you approach it has allowed you to stay so prominent and be so proficient with, especially like the amount of characters that you have throughout such a long period of time.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's what you're doing right now, or what you're talking about. I think is inspiring, and I think a lot of people will overlook this. A lot of people should listen to what you're talking about right now because that will further and that will further the motivation and the drive as well as the love for the game for people when they reach these like down parts in their career per se. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just wish I was better at explaining to it because I feel like a calculated player can give you a laundry list of ways to counteract something or deal with something.
Mhm.
And then you ask me for help, I'm like, all right, you're just gonna go up and grab them, and then you're just not gonna mess the chain grab up. And they're like, how do I grab them? I'm like, well, I mean, I just went up and grabbed them. You know what I mean? Like,
You just do
I
it.
don't know. There's just different ways. Like, I honestly feel like one of the best techniques that I've used when I'm practicing is that if you don't know when to use a specific, just go in a game against someone and just only use that move. You know what I mean? Because eventually you're gonna see some of the applications of it, some of the ways that you weren't doing it before, some of the ways you could do better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just so much experimenting you can do with that. So wait. Quick question. I want to ask you guys, right?
All right.
You guys have been around the scene for a long time.
Okay. Yeah.
Who is the hardest player for you guys?
Hmm. I think for me right now, it's probably. It's probably between Ben and
It doesn't
100.
even
It's probably between Ben and 100 grand, but I want to say Ben,
Ben.
just because he
Okay.
beats me consistently.
For me, it's not like a particular person, but it's a particular play style.
Playstyle
And so
too.
it's
Yeah.
like I noticed the most difficult play style that I usually have a problem with are people like Logan. And so the thing is, it's like I can be a little bit more frustrated with different play styles, or like more conservative play styles. But someone like Logan who switches it up 24/7, who like
He
you were
does
saying
switch it
earlier,
up so
he's like
much.
really kind of going off the back. They're not formulaic, and the person has such a balance between being like a variable mathematical guy and like a free flow guy. When the
Yeah.
person has that balance and their speed is like
Dude,
unrelenting, you
he's
know what I mean? Like
crazy fast.
relentlessly right there. That is hard for me personally because that's exactly what I'm trying to do. And so it's like if I
Yeah.
play someone one dimensional that's just like kind of camping, or someone that's like not as or someone that's just like super aggro, it's like that's cool and everything, but it's like I slowly get bored. And so it's like I'll slowly like fail on a lot of stuff, which is like all right here and there. But I personally struggle much more with a person that has that balance.
Yeah. It's like, if we're being honest, of all the people in Minnesota, right? Logan is the only player that I've never really beaten. I beat him one time, but he was like playing Jigglypuff, and he was not trying to play grand finals against the next player. So
He was shitting on
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but like, so to me that doesn't.
Yeah.
But like, I've never beaten him. Other than that, to me that doesn't count. So I've never beaten him, right? And I I agree. I agree 100%. It's been so difficult, and this is why I tell you characters don't matter. Because I remember there was a tournament I played at Lounge where I had played a long, hard. I'm pretty sure I played a pretty long set in losers finals against Sebi, and then I lost against Logan in grand finals. And the only reason that's notable is because in both losers finals and grand finals, I was playing against DeSantis.
Wait, what?
So,
Wait, you played against Logan in Grands? Like,
I played against Sebi in losers finals. It might have been losers semis. And he played Samus, and I beat Sebi.
yeah.
And then I played Logan in grand finals and played Samus, and I lost.
Damn.
And to my knowledge, I don't think Logan knows how to play Samus. So, you know what I mean? Like, but like, Logan has got Amanze down. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's how it's been, and it's fine. Like, honestly, I'd love to sit here and play Logan the same way I play Deepak for all of those.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I also realized that while I was playing Deepak for all this, he's definitely happy to do it. But it can get a little draining on the other players' part if they feel like, hey, it's not getting any closer. So I don't want to drain the guy out. And someday I'm gonna do it. I'll get him. Promise you guys, and get Logan days. But yeah, man, it definitely have to be Logan. That guy's. I honestly think he's harder to play than a Charlie, than a Ben.
He's
Man.
Me
really
too.
over. Yeah, same.
Just because
Yeah.
because those guys,
Yeah, I co-signed that, man.
you might lose a little harder, to be honest, against those guys. But
But
I
Logan
feel like
outplays you.
the formula is there. You know what I'm saying? Like what you got to do is there. You just got to be more consistent at it. But sometimes you go up and it's just like, man, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like you thought you had a blueprint, because it did not work the last time.
And it's like being at the office the first day of work, and you're just like, what is going on? You know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah,
they give you a blueprint, but then the day changes completely, and like Logan brings that factor, that X factor that like not many people do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Like you play Logan one day, he's an accountant. The next day, he's a lawyer. The next day,
he's a
he's
construction
personal
worker.
trainer. You know what I'm saying? Like so every
Next day,
day,
yeah.
pizza
it's like,
man.
what's happening? Versus like you're playing Charlie, you know you're going up against like a lawyer.
An engineer.
Oh,
Yeah, he's an
yeah,
engineer.
You know
yeah.
what
He
I'm
is an
saying?
engineer. Yeah.
It's the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hey, but I wanted to bring up, so there have been so many different like trends in the Minnesota Smash community, and the phrase "come on, man"
I know. Yeah. Come
was
on,
has
man.
originated from you.
Yep.
You are the man of the hour for that.
Come
And so I
on,
want to ask you:
man.
is that something that like you picked up randomly? Something you always said? Like what? Give us the story on that.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest. I honestly think that's a Deepak thing.
Deepak.
But I heard it the most.
Oh,
And
wow.
then, like, you know what I mean? Like, Deepak.
Hey, you co-signed it, you know?
You get what I
Yeah.
mean? So, if you guys want, if I'm being all the way real, I'm not 100% sure. We can double check with him, but I'm pretty sure that's a Deepak thing from River. Back when River Falls was running the college game, because U of M could.
Dude,
Hey, do you think that came out of frustration from when he was womping on you for all those months, and then you finally like did some stuff at him, and he's like, "Come on, man!" Like, do you think you know what I'm saying? Do you think you had some influence in creating that too, though?
I will. One thing I want to say about that is that like when he was womping, there was just never any frustration. You know what I mean? Like I really feel like it was never like that was never a frustrating time. Like I don't.
Oh no! I meant like from him because I think it's
Oh.
like hearing like how you've talked about things. I could not sense an ounce of frustration from you
Yeah,
personally. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. But like maybe from him, I just can't. I can't remember. I swear that that was him. But like I really can't tell you guys where that originally. Like I can't say that I stole that.
hey. So everyone in the Smash community wants to know why is your name redacted on the PR every single time you're
Yeah.
on it.
Man, these people will not leave me about this PR. Like the thing is, I truthfully I understand that people want that motivation and someone to beat,
Mm.
but I really don't want this to come huge pissing where it's like, hey man, I'm on the PR, so I feel like I can treat you different, or I feel like I got more clout in the game, or none of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want people to feel like their opinion matters any more or less because they are on or PR. You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes you get into the thing where, oh, he's on the PR, he better treatment or he gets more respect, and that's bull. That I don't. It's not. It's not right. It's not true. You know what I mean? And to
So-
know some of that, that's part of the reason why I never wanted to.
Oh, I
Like,
see.
I do understand that it's like you want it for seating and it gives people stuff to like look up to, but these people would just not let me be on it. So I was like, originally I was like, all right, if you guys are gonna make me be on it, I'm just gonna copy someone's name so now people don't know who it is, and eventually kind of stay in the shadows, which is what I'm down for.
I see. I
I
understand.
mean,
now.
it sounds like you've had a history of that then. Whereas, like, if you were on PR and people were like, "Oh, this guy's Amanze," and he's like, "This is da 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 da," it's like you faced that before, and you know what I mean. It sounds like that's what influenced you to be like, you know what, man, don't put me on the PR no more. I don't want people to treat me differently like that. Has that happened a bunch?
I mean, I wouldn't say I really wanted to do it as a reason that people shouldn't be treated any different, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, if
Yeah.
Monty's out here, and then like everyone else should, you know? But like, I guess I wouldn't say that it's happened like a ton, at least not like a negative way. But like, I have seen other people been treated differently just because they're not as good, they're not as good, and I don't know, I don't really like that. Everyone's still a player, everyone's still a person, everyone still needs to be treated with the same level of respect. So, to be honest,
Yeah.
completely honest.
Yeah.
Yo, speaking of respect along with like everybody and it should be the same, what is your I know this is a switch for sure, but what is your take on the entire protest riot and like everything that's happening in today's age?
Um, I'm definitely that is different. It's a different. I feel like it's a different kind of topic. Um,
And if you don't feel comfortable about it too, you know what I mean? Like you
no,
don't
that's fine. That's I. I guess for that, I definitely side with the people who feel like they aren't fairly and they're same. And I know for a lot of people, maybe even people in the Smash community, they're looking at it like, well, if they expect it, why are they out? Why are they out here burning stuff? You got to understand that these people feel like they've done the other. You know what I'm saying? They've tried to have peaceful conversations. They feel like things are changing, and there's so much that goes into what you might see on TV that it's unfair to judge something based on like what you just saw on TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
layered that there has to be such a good understanding of what's going on. I get why this happened.
I gotta ask, are you out there protesting?
Yes, I was. Admittingly, I was.
Oh yeah.
It's
Hey, how
it's
is it
not
out there?
something that
Is
I
it
feel
like
like.
pretty good?
Yeah, I definitely feel like all the things that I went to
That's
very
good,
well.
man.
Yeah, and it felt good to be around that type of energy. Um, I do want to acknowledge though that I don't think protesting is everybody's calling. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Oh, hey,
just
I
because you're
think
not
that
out there doesn't mean you don't disagree with a set of people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because like
yeah.
I think a lot of people might feel like, well, if you're not going to go out there, then do you really agree with those people? But I don't think that that's not how I feel. I think everyone has a different trying to attack them.
Damn, that's real, man. And I think that's what you said about like how protesting is not everyone's calling. That's
Yeah.
something that's missing in a lot of people's minds right now when they think
Mm.
about protest. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're either going to be a protester and for it, and you're going to be out there, or you're not for it and you're against it, and all this crap." It's like
Mm.
there are different ways, and I
Yeah.
like that you identified that. You know?
There's a ton of different ways. There's a ton of different ways that you can support causes, and they don't just all have to be like the big ways. You know what I'm saying? You can try and educate mentor on. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can use your money towards donation, supplies, whatever is happening. Ways to clean up the city. There's ways to get involved. No, you don't just. I think there's a ton of different ways that you can support whatever cause they want.
Have you ever felt like I mean maybe I don't know, but have you ever felt like especially during the past few months with like such tension in society that you like that people are kind of what I mean tense towards you or people are kind of like potentially racist at all towards you?
Absolutely, but I guess what I want to say about it is that I don't think people. I think it really comes from a ton of ignorance, if anything. You know what I mean? Because people, when we talk about like hate and racism, right, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
people understand that like, oh, he's African American. I don't like him because he's African American. You know what I mean? Or he's a different race than me, or he's a different gender than me, or I don't like trans or something along this lines that goes for anybody, right? And that's very like upfront racism. That's very like in your face. And honestly, that's honestly what you prefer to be, if what I prefer to be up to me, right? And I think seeing that kind of thing is a lot more rare than like understanding people who don't really like you for that specific reason, but they
Yeah.
still smiles in your face anyway. You know what I mean?
At least the message is out there, is what you're saying. That,
Yeah.
at
At
least that's
least you
more
know what you're
important.
dealing with instead of just like having to deal with like problems that might be more systematic or something. But that's a little different too. So
So in that way of where the information is actually getting, you know what I mean, delivered and like people know what they're dealing with, how do you feel about all the call outs like that's happened in the Smash community in the past like couple weeks?
so the whole call out thing, it's very tough. Like I want people to be I want people to feel like they have an issue, that this is something we heard, something that I want this. I really want this to be every. I feel like it should be everybody's community, and we should be one community, which is why,
Yeah.
like, I think ultimately is a smash. This is right because I remember how tough it was back in the day when it was Brawl Kids versus Melee Kids. Literally,
Yeah.
all basically like that was a huge issue way back in like 2010ish, whatever. So as far as like the call out thing, these people need to be heard, and if it's an issue, it should be dealt with. You know, and it sounds like a lot of these people feel like they've said something before and it just wasn't handled the way they handled it. They should tell a story about it. But I
Yeah.
really want it to be from a perspective that something needs to be done, and not
Yeah.
just to like call someone out, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? And the people, I don't know, it must be tough to be hearing your name and feeling like you're not doing anything, like you didn't do anything. I understand how that must feel extremely difficult. But the main focus we should have as a community is how can we make this better? Not that I didn't do this or we didn't do this or they didn't do this. You know what I mean? Because we
Yeah.
ultimately
Yeah.
want to be a strong community together.
And I wanted to bring this up because it's been so prevalent in the community. And Stormfish had a stream like this past Sunday
Mm-hmm.
where he was addressing it. Had a good amount of Minnesota viewers in it. A few people jumped on. I jumped on his stream to talk about some of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it'd be great to hear your take from it. Someone that's been in the community, you know what I mean, for so long. Someone that is a father, a veteran figure, someone that so many people look up to in the community. And so it's great to hear that like we're addressing the problem right now. Do you? I mean, I know this is a lot to ask, but do you potentially have any ways or any solutions that you would see potentially getting somewhere positive in the future?
So one thing that I want everybody, both people who are coming out, the people who've been called out, the people who feel like they have to tell thing, I think what really helps situations, and it's going to sound like a lot, but I want everyone to come to the discussion with the idea that I am the problem. You know what I mean? Because I feel like when people are coming to these discussions or these calls or whatever with the idea I didn't do nothing wrong
They don't
and I
look at
have X,
themselves.
Y, and Z reason, it makes it hard to just see the other side, and people get in such a defensive spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
But if you come to these discussions with the idea, hey, I'm the problem, I'm the issue. You know what I mean? Like, and then you come in with the idea like, how can I make this better? Can I do something better?
Mm-hmm.
Come up with a lot more solutions, and people can feel like they're being hurt. You know what I mean? Instead of the idea that like I gotta go defend my honor, my rep, my whatever. You know what I mean? So just approach it from a different view.
because so just to play the contrarian, I know a lot of people will be like, "Oh, this guy is not being as genuine." Like he's pretending to come in where he's gonna see himself as a problem, potentially play a victim card, and be like, like how come this guy's not like saying what he truly feels? I mean, obviously, no, you're not saying that, but like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like, what?
No, I get it. Because especially what
Yeah,
I just said about like people hiding behind it, how they really feel. Um,
yeah,
I do think people. I don't know. That's a topic thing. I do think. I don't know. I guess what I want to say about my hope is that generally everybody wants to be good and they, you know what I'm saying? They're making,
yeah.
and we do have to hold people accountable. Something just repeatedly happens. Um. So no. I think I'd have to think a little.
Well, I mean, again, like I already know you. You know, I mean, obviously, Isaac and all of us, we know that you're not like that. You know what I mean? And so it's just I just wanted to bring up like a contrarian side to that, and so I'm not, not trying to stump you at all, or give you like,
I
just wanted to
guess.
throw that.
I guess the one thing I want to say about that is
Yeah,
even, and I do appreciate the praise. Trust me, I really do. But I don't think it's enough for you guys just to say like, well, Amanzi's not like that. So if someone came to you guys to said, well, Amanzi this and that to me, I would hope that you guys as a community would also still look into it. You guys would investigate. You guys would, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because
oh yeah,
that's still someone coming out and trying to tell their story. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because like I saw like the mega some of the what people are some of the names that I'd respected also. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it is the responsibility of us as a community to be fair and to be diligent and look in kind of still feel like, hey, we got to understand what's happening. You know what I mean? You might hear, oh, it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault, but do you really know? You know what I mean? Did you really do your due diligence to see whose side you're on as far as what's happening? Do you really understand the situation? And I think that's too.
man, that's so great to hear because it's Isaac and I were talking about that in a podcast in a previous podcast, and we were talking about how a lot of people when they bring up stuff, they're just like, oh, this guy is like, X this, or like he's just dumb and he's like not right and he's just like not listening, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We were saying that a lot of people fail in taking that first step forward and being like, I got my view and
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to compromise.
Hmm.
We can agree to disagree, but I
Yeah.
just want to hear your view. So I know, I
To
understand where
understand
you're coming
their
from. I see
yeah,
what you're
their
doing. I
point of
see what
vision.
you're saying. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, like, I think that's what you were kind of saying about doing that due diligence. A lot easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that a lot, especially with the call outs. Like, I won't say names, but I was reading a couple of the twit longers, and they were just like, this person was this, and it was obviously bad, and I don't agree with it. But at the same time, it's like I didn't really hear the dialogue, the communication from those two
Yeah.
parties. You know, and be like, you guys should be able to communicate with one each other and be like, even though we don't agree on this, that's cool, whatever. We're still a brotherhood. We're still a community where we can actually have some dialogue
Exactly.
and build off of each other so that we
Mm-hmm.
know where we're coming from. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what you were saying, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because like ultimately, I want the people in this community to look at it like, look, these guys are your friends, these guys are your brothers, these guys are the people you should be rooting for when you see them playing elsewhere. You
Yep.
get what I
Yeah,
mean? And
Yep.
I
yeah,
ultimately feel like that's what I want to. That's the way I want to feel. And so, if you're not doing that with your brothers and friends, then who are you doing that with? You get what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's the kind of dialogue you guys should have with each other. You guys should be able to talk things out. You guys should be able to bring things to the table. And I understand it's they haven't been respected or they just haven't been heard. And I feel like that's something that better. You know what I mean? So when
yeah,
these things do happen nationwide, where it's like, oh, here's what happened in Chicago, California, Minnesota should be able to hope look at themselves and say like, hey, we've been good to each other. You know what I mean? Because to be honest, that means way more than whatever you're doing in the game.
yeah. Well, hey, I know that's like some pretty deep stuff, you know. But
Mhm.
on a brighter note, what is your favorite like controller breaking story that you've encountered that you've seen? It could be anyone.
Laugh.
Oh man, I've never broken a controller. Um, okay, so I've technically broken controllers, but not like out of rage. I got to tell you guys because I don't even know if most of you guys are old enough to remember this set, but like it always got my guy Randall mad, and I honestly feel like I did. But if you guys go and check, there's an old set with me playing against Disciple at like a warehouse tournament.
Warehouse? Warehouse? Which one?
Oh, Winter Warehouse.
Yeah, Winter Warehouse. Mine versus
Oh
Disciple,
shit.
right?
Was it the second one?
And I can't remember which one it was,
Yeah.
Hmm.
but like all I remember is that I had to that day next like I had to be in River Falls like so it was 7 o'clock at 7, right? So I could not finish my sets, and I remember that was the day that Deshaun actually beat Randall. So then I had to play Deshaun to get into top 8. And I was like, listen, and Deshaun might kill me for telling this.
Oh my.
But I was like, all right, Deshaun, I can't win here because I have to go home. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna kind of give you know what I mean? And but the thing is, like, I still wanted to like put on a show, and I still wanted to prove myself that I had it. So I remember game 1 I beat him, and then game 2 I'm pretty sure it was Link
Um.
versus his Pikachu, and I had like 5 chances to finally kill him, and like I just kept messing up, so then I lost that game, right?
Okay.
And then game 3 was Marth versus his Pikachu on like Dreamland, and he like I had like a billion chances to finish it, but I had to like look. So then like I made it look pretty good, but then just to sell it at the end after the set was over, I like threw my controller on the floor just so nobody like
Wow.
thought like it
No
was fake.
suspected. Ah.
Wow, it was a
Yeah.
fabricated controller, bro.
Oh
Yeah, so I
my
threw my
Oh
controller and
god.
I was like,
shit!
What is
and
this?
then like
That's the next level mixed up right there, dude.
The Amante's
Well,
brain just works so differently than everyone's. It's so
yeah,
crazy.
but then like man. So then like so I threw my controller, and then I remember Randall came up to me. He was like, I know that was fake. Like
What?
Randall was like the only person that knew. Everyone else was just like, man, what happened? Let him Randall's like the only one that let him know. I'm telling you.
Oh shit!
Oh, man. So like that was the one time that I can remember like actually like throwing a controller. I mean, I've definitely thrown controllers out of like some stuff, but never like out of like frustration or anger or stuff like that. So
Wait, so
yeah, man.
Oh shit, man.
wait, so I have one question for you, Amanzi.
Speak on it, man.
All
What you
right,
got?
all right. Who is Amanzi? Because we all know the Amanzi from the Smash community, but who is Amanzi outside of the community? Like who are you? Like I was gonna say, like what's your favorite thing to do besides running and besides Smash?
Man, honestly, my favorite thing to do is take care. That's the best way I could say it. I love taking care of people, and I love to see the people around me happy and thriving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I that's why I like to talk to people, and I'm so much more about people than I am other stuff. Like I was telling my girlfriend the other day, when we think of vacation, right?
Mhm.
She thinks about like white beaches, you know, white
Yeah.
sand, you know, waves crashing. Like she's really into the nature, right?
Mhm.
But me myself, I don't really care for like beautiful nature. You know what I'm saying? I'm about the people. I'm about the culture. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
like to get into how the people are doing in all these separate areas. That's why I always tell people my favorite place for vacation is Las Vegas. And people always get back by
Wow.
it like he's just a party animal. And it's not the party thing as much as like Las Vegas is the place I've been to where everyone is on vacation, so everyone wants to have a good time for the most part.
Yeah.
Person
Yeah.
live there. Don't get me wrong, but you get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Because everywhere else I've been, you go to Miami. So like you go to Miami, you meet a bunch of locals. Not that the locals are bad, but like you might meet someone who's just not trying to party that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like you go to Wisconsin, you go to Texas, you go to New York, it's the same thing. But you go to Las Vegas, and if you are on the Strip, no one from Las Vegas is on the Strip. It's just a bunch of people who came in and they want to have a good time, so you can get to know people, talk to
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
them. So,
Damn.
That's cool.
love, love.
Hey, well, hey, I know you said that 7 might be the cutoff time.
Yeah,
So
man.
we
Yeah.
can cut it off for it. But hey, do you got any last shout outs, any last things you want to say?
I I want to shout out to you,
Ooh.
not you, Eric, or Isaac, but I want to shout out to you. And you know who I'm talking about when I say I want to shout out. Saying I want to shout out to the community. I honestly I love seeing you guys. I love the competition,
Mm.
and I just want to hope that everyone can continue to be nice to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a great community. I truly believe that we do have a great
Yeah.
community, and we're
Right.
not free of our shortfalls by any means. We have a great community, and I know it can continue to be better. So I want to see you guys keep striving. I want to see you guys keep succeeding, and I know it's happening. So just keep putting in the work, guys, and just cap things off. Your boy suicides, please, home. We're not above. You know what I mean? Give that stock in, and then go with. You feel me? All
Make it.
right. I'll
Like.
talk to you guys later. Okay.
Alright.
All right, man. Hey, appreciate it, Monzi.
Appreciate
I
both of you
appreciate it,
guys,
man. I
man. Thanks.
appreciate it. Yep.
See you. All
Yeah. See you,
right.
man.
Well, I think that's it. We'll wrap up here, boys
This was
and girls. It's been good, good, good.
I actually like this episode.
Till next week.
Yeah. Till next week.
Yeah. See you guys.
All right. Yep. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's twitter.com/ERSAAC. And yeah, I actually love I like this podcast. I like this podcast episode, but